All right, another Crossroads podcast. I think this is number 65, 66,
Sounds about right.
65.
I don't know.
Well, I'm Jake Ryan,
I'm James LaFountain,
and we are here to blow your minds.
and we are the Backstreet Boys.
We are the back streets back. All right.
It's funny because you always open the podcast with "All right,
All
uh,
right. All right.
all right." Welcome to another episode of the Crossroads podcast.
Well, I'll hit the little intro so we can get this party started.
Run it.
Run it and gun it.
There's a place where deals are made and legends are born. You boys know what to do. Sure, we know what to do. And that is not to let the devil know anything.
Heck yeah.
Party on, Wayne.
Party on, Garth.
So how's life been in Kalispell?
Been good, man. Just working and working some more,
True that. Starting to feel like fall.
These past couple of days hasn't been so hot out. Chillier weather, windier.
Yeah, for sure. It's just waking up the other day. I was like, dang, it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
And wet and rainy. So
Yeah.
you can see the leaves kind of starting to change color.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh man, summer's like pretty much over.
For real. That's by quick, man.
I know. Hopefully, we actually have a fall. It kind of rushes into winter around here,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, last year was like the extended fall. Seemed like the summer didn't want to let go.
oh, it's the summer went into fall.
Well, it was like Christmas time when it first snowed over
Yeah,
here.
yeah. I can't really remember exactly what happened last year. It's
Pretty quick though, man. I was staying with my cousin Christmas last year, so fucking been a quick year.
yeah. I don't know if I've been here a year or two now, but I'm feeling pretty good about this next year coming up. I just trying to get some things squared away for winter.
Yeah.
Vehicles. We have this new Jeep now that was our in-laws that they gifted us for our anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nice. It's 4-wheel drive.
What kind of Jeep?
A Jeep Cherokee, like 96.
Those are good. V8.
Yeah, I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Those are good, man.
dude, I'm starting to get better at my mechanics. I was telling you, I did change my spark plugs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like starting to understand like, oh, the V8 and how it works, and just starting to remember like engines and how
Mm-hmm.
they work and all the different pieces under the hood, and
Yeah.
all that stuff has been gibberish to me.
Same, dude. I mean, not even until just like the past few since I got this new car, you know. Because when you get a new car, you're just like, oh, I want to do this and do that, but I just kind of realized the same thing. I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know how an engine works. Like, but I kind of understand that.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm like, I kind of enjoy it
Fuck
because
yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm taking care of this by myself as long as I do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And just using tools and getting dirty and doing like just being able to take care of it myself because I've been in and out of the shop.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, I could save myself so much money.
Plus, like you said, you know, you learning something just is always good, you know.
When my kids get older, I want to be able to show Hendrix that stuff. Be like, yo, dude, if something happens with your vehicle, this is how we can troubleshoot and take care of it and, diagnose the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just,
Yeah.
I want to
I
get a
mean, most
motorcycle
things-
one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
It'd be rad.
Like what kind? Like a Harley?
A Harley. Old, I'm that kind of guy. I'm like the old school Harley. I'm not a big crotch rocket guy.
Yeah. They got stuff that's like, I mean, they got other stuff too, like just little road bikes, you know, they're not necessarily a crotch rocket, but it's not like a big Harley type motorcycle.
Yeah.
Just cruising bikes. That'd
Yeah,
be
for
fun,
sure.
dude.
I'd be a little intimidated at first with obviously I'd have to take a class to get my license,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd always just be worried about tipping that big sucker.
I would be more worried about just traffic, you know.
Yeah,
Like if
dude.
you're on an open road, I don't think it's too much to worry about unless you're like really pushing it. But yeah, dude, there's not a lot of motorcycles around here, you know, so people don't really watch out.
That's what I was thinking, like 2-lane highways. Fuck.
Hmm.
I don't even like driving on 2-lane highways,
I know.
but got to.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I was just saying my AC, something's going on with my AC.
Right.
That's real hard to diagnose. Because my mom's AC in her van, she just bought a used van and the AC wasn't working. So I just spent the weekend basically learning about AC systems, and it's a lot. Like,
With some family that was working on it or researching.
well, I was trying to fix it. Yeah, I was just researching myself, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot that goes into it. There's like 5 main components, you know. Like you got your high and low pressure lines. You got just like the evaporator, the condenser, the freaking what is it? Well, I mean, what I thought was interesting was because I'm like, how does it even work? Like, how does it get cool? But it's basically the same as like these air dusters. You know, when you shoot them and the can gets cold,
Right.
it's basically the freon, the gas going
Mhm.
from a liquid to a gas, and that's what makes it cold.
Oh, right. Yeah, dude, I wish I could fix my AC in my truck. It's not the biggest concern of mine, but it would be nice.
I would always start with the fuses. Do you ever check your fuse box?
No, I should check that, but I think I was looking at the diagram of all the belts,
Hmm.
and it looks like it was bypassed
Hmm.
the way the belts are running.
Hmm.
So, and the Freon can is like dead and expired. I
Right.
think it's like illegal to use the can of Freon that I have, and it's gone anyways.
Hmm.
So I would definitely need to get a new Freon can, but I think the belts need to be done differently.
Yeah, because that's how the compressor is belt driven,
Mm,
and it's connected to your crankshaft, I'm pretty sure.
mm-hmm.
So if that crankshaft ain't connected to that compressor, one thing I learned how to diagnose if it's the compressor is if you have
Mm-hmm.
your AC off, like completely off, but on the dial, and you start your engine, and then you let the idle settle, and then you turn on the AC, and if you look at your RPMs and a working compressor, once that compressor kicks on, it'll make the engine have to work a little bit harder, so you can see the RPM go up just a little bit.
Mm.
And so when it's not working, it won't even budge really. So pretty easy way to test the compressor. But like I said, there's like, you know, 4 other components that it could be too.
Well, I want to get the diagnostic reader.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be good to
OBD.
have. Yeah. Just to check for all the codes
Yeah.
and be like, yo, these are some of the things with the vehicle, so I can make a checklist of things to take care of, and I don't know, just get better at least most of the minor things I can take
Mm-hmm.
care of and learn all the tricks. Like I was saying, we checked the fuel pressure
Mm-hmm.
by hooking that up, and I thought that my fuel pump was going out, but I need to check through my records. I think I may have replaced it a while back
Yeah.
because one time my truck wouldn't start and my homie went down there with a hammer,
Mm-hmm.
clink, and it started back up.
Right.
And I think after that, I was like, dude, I gotta get this shit in the shop.
Yeah.
And so I've been checking my fuel pump, did the fuel filter, fuel system cleaner, and it was still, I think the spark plugs were just misfiring.
I mean, it's probably been a while since they were even replaced, right?
I've never replaced them.
I think they say every like 60,000 miles or something. I
Yeah,
could be wrong, but
so
it's supposed to last a while, but you for sure should change them.
yeah, it wasn't too bad. There was,
Mhm.
of course, some tight spots to get into. I was like, fucking god damn it.
Yep.
And just getting them in there right and being like, dude, I don't want to cross thread this. And then making sure I got all the wires because I put a new distributor cap and wires,
Mhm.
and just making sure I put them all on the right ones since they say they fire in like a certain crisscross order.
Yep.
So I was like, all right, I got to get this right. And then, of course, I'm like, sweet. I got her all done. I get my, because I had to take off my air intake in order to
Mhm.
get in there
Yep.
and start my truck up. I'm like, fuck yes, it started.
Hell yeah,
and
man.
and then I was like, oh shit, I forgot to put this new rotor in under the
Mhm.
distributor cap that spins around.
Right.
So I was like, damn it, I kind of had to take the air intake off and pop the cap and put that on. And then I'm putting it all back together and my fucking one of my sockets fell off.
Down in the engine bay.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, I just got everything done, no problems. And now I have to fish this thing out of here?
Mhm.
I was like, wow. I almost did this smooth,
Yeah.
got her out.
For sure. Yeah, it's fun, man. I enjoy it. That's best way to learn though is just working on your own shit. You know, something goes wrong, you kind of are forced to learn about it, you know, or just take it in. Some people just don't give a fuck.
I mean, I could have taken it in. I went and bought the parts myself. And then I was like, because my homies told me how to do it.
Hmm.
I was like, all right, that's not too complicated. You know, I just have to use my brain and get
Hmm.
in some uncomfortable positions. And then uh, just like wanting the experience to be like, yo, I accomplished it, I figured it out, and to save like 100 or $200.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like, oh man, that's still $100.
Hmm. For sure, dude.
So
Yeah, dude. Well, that's what's cool about those old Fords too, is like it's not super complicated, you know.
and that's one reason why I'm like probably gonna keep it. I'd like to get a new truck eventually, but
Hmm.
like, yeah, it's not too complicated. It'll last if I take care of it.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Yeah, man. My car's been pretty good. It's got that CVT transmission in it, so it's like if it feels a little weird to drive because it doesn't automatically go when you hit the gas. It kind of has this like rubber band effect.
Oh.
And apparently those types of transmissions are pretty, you know, they fail quite a bit, you know, just because it's kind of the same thing with automatic transmissions. When they first started making those, people are like, you know, fuck those things, just because they would fail so often. Nowadays, you know, they've been making them for 30 years or whatever, or probably more than that, but you know, so they get better at making them and stuff. But I was super stoked when I got that car, and then I find out about that, and I'm like, oh man. So but
Dang.
I think part of it is you got to treat them a little different than you would a normal automatic transmission. So people that don't know what they are, you know, and the things not to do, they might mess it up a little quicker, you know.
What is the CVT in that?
It's continuously variable transmission, so it doesn't have any gears in it.
Uh-huh.
A normal transmission, it's like a manual transmission where, you know, it has gears and it'll switch the actual gears.
Right.
But there's no gears in it. It's basically like two pulleys, and it has a metal belt in it, and those each pulley will change sizes, so it's like a, you know, different ratios of pulley sizes. So that's what's weird about driving it, is you don't really feel it shift gears. It's not like wah, wah, you know, like it's
Right.
just smooth. It's like a smooth all the way up until like third or fourth gear, and then you can start to feel it. But
Interesting.
yeah, it's different.
I've never had much experience with a manual transmission. How about you?
No, my cars have been automatic. I want a manual though.
I'm not that good at driving manual because I've never really had to.
Right.
But one day.
It's super easy. It's not hard.
I've definitely stalled them out though. I'm like,
the only thing that sucks is like if you're on a like an incline, and then there's somebody like really close behind you. When you push in that clutch, you know, you'll start to roll backwards a little bit. So like you really got to put it in gear quick before roll into the person behind you.
True that. See, that was the problem with my rig this time. Is I was coming up my in-laws driveway, slight incline, and my truck power, the engine shut off. I had electrical power still. And, you know, that's when I was looking into some fuel stuff like fuel sensor, fuel pump. Thought, you know, maybe the fuel filter was clogged because it had been sitting for a while. And then again, just like the spark plug thing. And I'm like, hopefully this is it. I guess we'll find out in this next week.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm like, everything I keep doing to it, it's good to get it done anyways.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
So like all the neglect I had on that truck for years, I'm like paying for it all now, you know. So
for sure, man. Yeah, you don't want to learn the hard way.
At least it still runs.
Yeah.
And it's still good to go. But there's always something to do. It's just like
yeah, I mean, all that stuff, like, it's not hard to maintain, you know. People just put it off, and you know, shit happens. My Saturn that I had, fucking engine blew up on me while I was going on the highway.
Oh,
my lesson with that one.
How did that turn out?
I mean, I was just going down the highway and, you know, trying to accelerate, and it was like redlining, and I wasn't even really like pushing on the gas. You know, I was already up to speed, so I was just driving, you know, and it starts redlining like crazy, and I'm like, what the hell? And then just boom, huge plume of smoke comes out.
Oh my gosh,
dude! Yeah,
that'd be so scary.
It was, dude. And yeah, I just pulled off on the side of the road, and it was donezo.
Yeah, just park it, call up some family or friends, or did you have insurance
Yeah,
at that time?
no, I actually just left it on the side of the road.
Okay, fuck this, I'm out.
Well, I tried to call a few like uh salvage yards, nobody would take it. And I was like, all right,
At
well, I
all?
tried. No.
They wouldn't even just tow it themselves to get it out of there?
No, I mean I was gonna pay to have them because salvage, they take it and they basically own it at that point. They can do whatever they want.
Mhm.
But nobody wanted it. So I'm like, I'm not gonna pay for a tow back to my place, like I have nowhere to park it and it's I'm not gonna pay to fix it. I paid $600 for it, I think. Drove it
Mhm.
for like 5 years. So definitely got my money's worth out of it.
Yeah, it's, I definitely miss some of the vehicles I used to have, and this time around, I'm gonna take good care of my stuff and just
Yeah.
be wiser about it all. But now that I'm not, like, buying booze and weed and stuff,
Mhm.
I put my money into it, I'm more responsible, and my mind is, like, more capable of
Yeah.
taking care of these things.
Yep.
But, yeah, that's,
Yeah, this Monday will be 2 weeks. No smoking weed for me.
no weed, huh?
Hmm.
None of the ganja? How's it feel?
Yeah. Feels normal. I mean, I've done it before and it's there'll still be times where I still feel kind of foggy, and I'm like, this must just be from residual from years and years of smoking weed.
Oh, yeah, for
But
sure.
definitely I feel better and just more level, and just clear-minded. My dreams have been pretty nuts though.
I've had some weird dreams recently. Anything you wanna share, or can you even remember?
I really can't remember a lot. Um,
I need to try writing them down.
yeah, I had a weird one the other day though, and it was with my teardrop tattoos,
Hmm.
and it was like the teardrops themselves were like it was like a hole instead of
Whoa.
tattoos. It's
Whoa.
like, yeah, and I was like, oh, I don't know, but yeah, it's really weird because they're like really, really long, drawn out, vivid dreams, and it seems like not so much recurring dreams, but like recurring places. I don't know if you've ever had dreams like that.
Yeah, for sure. My high school, some of my old
Mhm.
houses I've lived in, sometimes they're, like, fictional places,
For sure.
and that's when I'm like some of them I wanna turn into a movie, 'cause
Hmm.
there'll be, kinda something I could turn into, like, a suspense thriller. Oh, man, I was gonna watch that movie Nope last night. I think I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Is it out?
I think it's on streaming, like,
Like a
maybe
Netflix?
Amazon. No.
Dang, I just canceled my Amazon.
Oh, you did? Just do another email trial.
I know. I always do that, and then I forget to cancel it, and it charges me, and I'm like, ah,
$6 on Amazon Prime Video.
hmm,
So I'll probably do that. See if my wife
right.
wants to watch it. She's not really too into, I don't even know. It's fiction, science fiction horror. So she's not too into horror. We watched Predator or Prey.
Yeah, I was over at my cousin's last night, and they started that,
Did you
and it looked
watch it
pretty
at all
good.
or no?
I watched like a half an hour of it before I dipped out.
It was good.
Pretty cool though.
I
Yeah.
like the Native American
Mm-hmm.
way in the past. Did you see the
Yep.
Predator fighting at all?
When I left, it was like he had just tore out the spine of that wolf or something.
Oh, so it was pretty early in the movie still.
It was just like introducing him. Yeah.
They didn't have any like human battles yet.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it was dope. I dug it.
Mhm.
Did it show his mask? He had like a skull mask instead of his like metal mask.
Mhm. I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
that's cool. Um, But I don't know, dude. Yeah, without having marijuana, I still have some dreams, and like sometimes I'll still think like, oh man, I kind of want to smoke.
Mm-hmm.
But then I usually just think about first of all how long I've been off it. Then I think about my kids,
Yeah.
and then I think about well the side effects that I don't like. And then I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I would just be back on it like all the time because I'd be like, well, I already yeah. So,
Yep.
but I had a dream the other night, and I have like dreams about like me and Riff Raff all the time. I don't know why,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like Riff Raff was like kind of like living at my house. Not this one, but he was like my roommate or something.
Right.
And I was like, oh, sure, I'll smoke some weed. I'm hanging out with Riff Raff here. I might as well smoke some weed. And I smoked in my dream, and I was like, oh shit, I feel like guilty now. I was on such a good streak.
Yeah.
Was it even worth it?
Right.
So when I wake up from dreams where like smoke or drink, and then I feel kind of like guilty in my dream for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm like, well, that's probably the way I would feel in real life. So,
Yeah. The other day, someone ripped their vape pen and was like handing it to me, and like just out of habit, I almost took it and ripped it, but I was like, oh shit.
oh, THC?
Yeah.
Yeah. You still got the nicotine vape?
Yeah, dude, you see me hitting it.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
But
Nicotine's tough to
for
get
sure.
off of that. I don't know. That's another reason. Well, I was speaking to a psychiatrist the other day,
Mm-hmm.
which I'd never done that before, and just talking about like the depression, anxiety stuff, which the lamotrigine I'm on, helps treat that,
Mm-hmm.
and it definitely helps bipolar, manic depression, and then I was talking to him mainly where I was like about focus, where I'm like, dude, it's so hard for me to like take care of one thing at a time because I'll, like, oh, I'm gonna clean my daughter's room, and I'll like start to do something, and they're like, oh man, I gotta go uh, do the dishes. Oh, then I'll move on. Oh, I gotta clean the kid's room, my son's room. So I'll jump
Yeah.
around, do all these things, and not finish them, and then I'll make my way back to the first thing. And even aside, I was just like, yo, so if I could, he had me do like cognitive tests.
Mm-hmm.
So I was taking these brain check tests. So we'll see about like ADHD stuff here in the future.
Yep.
So I don't know. One day I might be on a medication for that. If
Mm-hmm.
so, I'll see if it helps because my focus is getting better. When I smoke weed, I felt like I could focus sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like, I'm gonna draw and work on this
Mm-hmm.
comic book. I could focus. I could focus just on that, like turn on some music, draw,
Yep.
or graphic designs. I'd focus in on it instead of getting distracted with a bunch of stuff. But then the weed would also distract me,
Yeah.
where I'd be like, yo, I'm gonna be like working on this project and watching YouTube and doing some other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. There was those side effects that I didn't really dig
Yeah.
that I'm trying to I don't know. And when I'm doing these cognitive testing, I was like, shit, man, I know I could have done better than this. Like some of the things I was fucking up on.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I was kind of thinking, I was like, I don't know. Maybe I definitely did some damage to my brain through the years,
I feel that, bro.
and I'm like trying to get it back.
I for sure feel like Yeah, it is frustrating, dude, because I'll be like, man, like I'll I'll, I'll think this in my head sometimes. It's really bad, like it's not good, but I'll be like, man, I wish I wasn't retarded. Like
Oh,
I'll just do something stupid, you know, and I'm like, God damn it, like, you know, for sure it feels like that where it's like, I know I'm better than this, you know.
dude, yeah, that's what I felt like, and I would tell myself like, "Oh, you made that mistake. Don't make it this next time." All right, sweet. I just upgraded the plan.
Oh, did you?
They have a 50% off thing going on right now for 6 months.
That's how they get you, man.
Yeah, so I was like, "All right,
For
750 a
sure.
month is better than 15."
Mm-hmm.
But as long, if I'm doing stuff regularly, it's not such a bad deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I still kept finding myself making those same mistakes over and over, or you know, just those things of starting projects and not finishing them, like musical projects. I have like multiple different albums I'm working on at one time, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't want to work on 5 albums at once.
Yeah.
I just want to focus on one project at a time, get it
Mm-hmm.
done, try to be more organized, like my paperwork for my
Yep.
like work and all my other receipts, like my car paperwork. I'm
Yep.
like, dude, I'm such a mess. And my life becomes a mess, but then my thoughts and my mind become so chaotic that I'm like, oh, if I could just maybe get rid of some of the things I don't need
Yeah.
to focus on, or I don't need like distracting me,
Mm-hmm.
how much more could I accomplish in life? So I don't know. We'll see. The therapy has helped. And, even going to the support groups, I guess helped me with some other things of just the mind,
Yeah.
not getting so pissed off so easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
How's
Yeah.
work been with doing, managing some other people and other duties?
Been a stressful couple weeks actually. Um, after last foreman left.
Wait, he did? Oh, wait, the one that you were filling in?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
After he left, well, even while he was leaving, was kind of stressful, just because it wasn't uh the plan that they had for him leaving and then choosing the new foreman wasn't executed very well. And I became foreman, and the other person that was kind of competing for that position, he got assistant to lead. So there's kind of two people filling in that position, you know.
Right.
And so for me, it never really felt like official and wasn't a whole lot of training. I was just kind of thrown into it, you know. And
Right.
then people started leaving and putting in their 2 weeks and all this. And there's other people that were thinking of putting in their 2 weeks. So if they would have done that, which a couple of people decided to stay, but if they would have done that, it would have been just me left. I would have been the only builder there out of like, it was like 6 people or something. And
Wait, did they stick around though?
well, 2 people decided to stay. Um,
Whoa.
only one of them is a builder though. The other one is the sawyer. So yeah, they, there's 2 builders there right now that did put in their 2 weeks, so they're on their way out.
They going back
And
into another construction job?
yeah, they're just going somewhere else. But it's just chaotic couple weeks, you know, and
You guys gonna be hiring new guys then, or looking?
yeah, yeah, for sure. So that'll be cool, because I think part of it was like I was a builder with everybody, and then I become foreman. So it was kind of that. It was just a little awkward
So if
because
some new guys come in and you're the foreman, then it won't be so weird.
right, right.
Yeah, that'll be good.
But yeah, I think this coming week will be a lot better, and just the morale it went way down, man. This last Monday was just like the saddest day ever, dude. Like we nobody got anything done, dude. Everybody was just walking around just sad, like
Why?
just because everyone was leaving, like
Oh,
it,
yeah,
it just
yeah.
kind of felt like the whole place was about to shut down. So basically everybody's like, why am I even here?
And when things are changing too, and people's like, I don't even know what to expect here.
Mm-hmm.
Is there gonna be
Yep.
a work? Like,
Mm-hmm.
or just when things get comfortable and then things start to change. It's like, oh
Mm-hmm.
man, I just got comfortable.
For sure. That's usually when it happens too, man. You get comfortable and kind of have this false idea that it's going to be like that forever, and then something happens inevitably, and then people handle it differently, But I was even thinking of quitting just because I'm like, this is not worth it, Like, but I decided to stay. A couple other people decided to stay, so people are starting to feel better, and I'm kind of grown into that position a little more, and just learning the ropes, getting the hang of it. The more I can do that, the better I'll feel, and the better everyone else will feel, because that's just how it goes. The, as far as morale goes, it kind of you have an effect on if you're in a leadership role, you kind of have to keep the morale up.
Yeah, true that. It's and that's what I definitely have to remind myself of at work. I definitely enjoy work more now than I used to. Construction work, because
Mm-hmm.
before I was like, well, when I had a boss with a hot-headed superior, I really was like, dude, I just can't wait to get out of this and become an independent contractor.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I finally worked my way towards that and I started getting my own tools, it's like, dang, I'm starting to feel like great now. That was a kind of a good high to get on. I was like, sweet, yes, independent contractor. I got my own business bank account, blah, 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 my own business name. Stressful too, because the job wise, it was like, now I have to be more responsible for like finding more work.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got kind of comfortable with some other crews, like regularly subbing in with people,
Mm-hmm.
like there was a hangar crew in front of us that we would start regularly subbing behind.
Right.
And then they started growing into building their hanging and tape texture business. Then they were wanting to go incorporate, and I was like, damn, dude, I just got so comfortable again, and it fell right back into this like I kind of like fell down the tier, sort of,
Mm-hmm.
because I was working with all these guys that had a lot more experience. So I don't know. Then I wanted out again. It's like, damn it, I want to get out of this. And I don't know if I want to be in construction forever. I just want to make it with the music.
Right.
And then I went down that path of just chasing the music and art for a while, which such a struggle,
Mm-hmm.
especially around this area.
Yeah.
And, eventually kind of when the network of people I was working with didn't pan out like I thought it would, uh, and I hit my like deep depression. It's like, God, dude, I just hide away in a hole, drink too much alcohol, smoke too much weed, maybe eat a lot of psychedelics. That was mainly my thing. And then be like, dude, I gotta fucking pull myself out of this.
Yeah.
And then once I finally did go to the doctor or get sober, then I started thinking maybe I'll go to the doctor because dealing with my sober brain So fucking hard. Even just, I would still smoke weed, but dealing with
Right.
my brain, like getting off of alcohol and being like, dude, oh my God, the chaos, my anxiety. And then be like, I should probably get off the weed too, eventually. And got the lamotrigine. I started being like, you know what? I can like start to do this now. I don't know. My confidence slowly came back to go back to work. Once I got back to work, that's when I stopped smoking weed. It was like on 420.
Yeah.
And so that was weird. It was kind of depressing at first because I was like, did I fail? Am I a failure at the music and art? And then, slowly I've come around again to being like, man, this is all great work. Like, there's construction stuff, the music and art stuff. Now trying to learn more of the mechanical stuff. I'm like, dude, I need to know all this shit to just be a well-rounded
Yep.
like adult.
Yeah.
So I'm opening my mind now to being like, dude, I don't have to. I was too busy caught up on what other people thought of me for a while. You know what I mean?
Right.
And still being conscious of being like, I want people to think good things about me. Because I would tell myself, like, I don't care what they think.
Right.
But I do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, everybody cares, I think it's a good sign if you're worried about what other people think of you, but it definitely can go too far as long as you don't let it dictate your life and like the decisions you make.
Yeah. Oh, like getting tattoos or
Or just anything
hairstyles.
like
Some
people don't
people
want to
like,
go, not even really that, but like, I mean, that all that stuff's good, you're just expressing yourself, but people will be like, oh, I uh can't go to this party, I have too much anxiety, like stuff like that, like you letting the insecurity of what people might think about you stop you from doing things that you would probably enjoy.
that definitely was happening to me. Where for a while I didn't want to go to the grocery store. I didn't want to be seen by people, didn't want to perform music. Like a part of me would want to perform live, but then it was
Right.
also like, no, I don't want to do that. Why? Am I even going to be good enough? Is it worth it? Should I
Yeah.
do it for money? Should I just do it for the love? All that kind of stuff of thinking too much,
For sure.
and just getting caught up on my thoughts. And so, yeah, I don't know. But the thing is, like, I just got another royalty check the other day, and some of my royalties will be like really small.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go through and track some things, and it'll go up like $1, $2. And then other ones, like I got a fairly substantial one the other day through CD Baby. So I just got
Right.
to also, all that stuff still is important too. Like, if you make some really good content you're proud of or good art, to just properly publish it and release it right, because that might not matter to everybody, but it does make me happy. And to be like, yeah, sweet, I could take the money that was made from music and put it back into music.
Yeah.
Whether it's promoting online or buying new instruments or new program stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, dude. I mean, just the, setting a goal and going, taking the actions to get there, all the stuff you got to do, writing the music and recording and getting the CDs made or putting it on distribution. Like that's the fun of it, once you actually release it and the goal is reached, then it's kind of like, okay, now you got to set another goal and then just keep doing it,
Marketing
because
too, where I'm like,
yeah. Hmm.
where unfortunately, because I'll sometimes be like, sweet, I made something rad, but if I don't properly market it to people, like sometimes I'll just run things right now for like $1 a day
Yeah.
on Facebook or Google, YouTube,
Hmm.
targeting, certain areas and interests.
Yep.
Because I find that I'm like, man, it'll just sit there. I wish I didn't have to do it like that, but Mowgli, get off my headphone. You messed it up. I don't know if my headphone's working now.
Check one, check two.
All right, sweet. But yeah, unfortunately, I kind of like marketing too,
Yeah, dude.
although it kind of sucks.
I
There's an
mean,
art to it though.
so I came across this YouTube channel where the dude basically breaks down other YouTube channels, It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the downfall of this YouTuber or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's pretty interesting because it just goes into the reasons why these channels will fail, or someone like Mr. Beast, like why he's successful.
Mm-hmm.
And there's tons of them out there, but a lot of these people that fail, they're they'll just blame other things like the algorithm or something,
Mm.
which I've definitely done. I'll be pissed and
Yeah,
be
I've
like,
thought
well,
that.
I'm fighting the algorithm without even really trying to learn about it, like learn what's working and what's not working, which is what you got to do. Like, because
Yeah.
the algorithm is constantly changing, and it's Mr. Beast is pretty inspiring in that way, just because he's hyper obsessed with analytics, and just apparently before he started his YouTube channel, he just spent a year just studying YouTube, and it's just a
Saying Logan
smarter way to,
Paul 10,000 times.
yeah, I mean,
That was funny though. It worked.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that was at that time, no one was really doing anything like that,
Yeah, finding that niche and building on it. I heard him
Mhm.
say on Logan Paul's podcast, I think, Impulsive, he said, Mr. Beast said, if you just he's like, I just replaced the word algorithm with audience, maybe? Because
Mhm.
he's like, the audience pretty much is the algorithm.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the
Like the
algorithm is,
computers, but then whatever they're interested in or something like that. I don't
I mean, the most simplest way to look at it is like you're just trying to put out the best content, something that's watchable or listenable,
know.
And
Mm-hmm.
if it is, it'd be way easier to market it or to keep it afloat in the algorithm, because that's what the algorithm is built for. It's built to propel those things that are doing the best,
Right.
So but there's all these different little things, retention and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And um it's just you gotta learn it, you gotta learn the ropes and learn what to do and what not to do and all that.
Yeah, it's
But
interesting the things sometimes like camera cuts,
mhm,
camera angles,
yep.
all those little edits that can make a difference.
Mhm,
Sometimes, but it's all content is different because sometimes you'll see you know, a really elaborate music video. Like, I've done stuff like that where it's like make a really expensive music video and push it out there and it doesn't get that much traction. Of course, I'm still trying to figure out how to market each individual thing properly. Where it's like, well, this music video is kind of for people with like it's a more depressed thing, so it's going to appeal to more people that are like struggling with alcoholism or depression or addiction and stuff like that. Whereas this one over here is more like fun, happy, like kind of
Mhm.
party song or something,
Right.
or just like a feel good song. So marketing, target marketing these individual things while at the same time having the brand figured out. Like, what is the core value of this brand? Just like the Crossroads podcast, where I'm like, okay, once I, harness in on the podcast, and I haven't even ever really promoted it yet. I will here
Mhm.
soon, because we're still kind of getting our feet wet with it.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
it's like, I don't know, learning all those little things, being sober has really helped me not like get angry at the algorithms
for sure.
and feel like, oh yeah, they're Illuminati's trying to shut me down or something.
Yeah.
Especially when I get like strung out. My
Mhm.
mind literally went to that place
Mhm.
where it's like, no, dude, there's something out there that's trying to stop me.
For sure.
And
Yeah, it is a weird thing though because I've had those same thoughts pretty much on any platform, but the more you feed into it, the worse it gets because it's like a negative feedback loop, like you'll post something and it doesn't get any attention, and then you get mad about it, and then you post something about that, and then
oh
you're just
yeah,
kind of digging yourself in a hole. And
yeah,
when you go online, you just want to see good stuff, like you want to laugh and you want to see something interesting. And if you just look at it like that, like what would I want to see? Or, I don't want to see someone crying about the algorithm, or I don't want to see this creator that's like, blaming his audience or just resentful because they're not where they think they should be, you know, and so it's really, I mean,
I will have to go through some things like that. Like, there's all the community guidelines, rules and
mhm,
regulations, and content things where it's like, this content is allowed to this degree
mhm,
without limitations, and then this content isn't, or like this type of content will be pushed more than others. Like if it's
mhm,
family friendly, or if it's obviously things that's like made for children have a bunch of different
yeah,
limitations. Cuss words, graphic imagery, even like what your topics are
yep,
has like this different influence in the algorithm. And then so I'm trying to be more conscious of all that stuff, and I'm trying to be more conscious of like what I put out even on uh Instagram posts, or like I don't
mhm,
really post on Facebook much.
mhm,
It's just usually my Instagram post sh- goes over to Facebook,
right,
and then I'll post stuff on my music page, and then usually that stuff on there I'll usually promote it because I'm like, well, it's
mhm,
usually just a music video or like a merch thing.
right,
And what I was saying earlier though about I spend all this time on like an elaborate music video, and then sometimes I just those shorts do really good, because there'll be like a 10-second video that feeds to a bunch of people and they just
yep,
watch 10 seconds of it. But it's amazing how I think I've told you this before, where I'd make an elaborate music video, blah blah blah. It wouldn't reach many people, and I'd promote it, I boost it with some Google ads. It would still reach some people, but I still try to get more interactions, more comments, and try to like connect with people more.
Mhm.
Then sometimes I just make like a simple video that's like talking about uh journey of sobriety and struggles with addiction.
Mhm.
And that'll get like hella views.
Yeah.
No, and it's like camera quality, nothing special. It's like shot off a phone.
Mhm.
So it's pretty interesting, the differences in what type of content, not only that the computers will push out there more, but I think they usually push out more if people are just, like you say, the retention of
Right.
it, stuff like that, where they're like, oh, it starts to get some likes, they're watching it for a minute or longer,
Mhm.
we'll push it out to more people
For sure.
and put it in that side panel that's like, oh, if you're on
Yeah.
a run of, watching NBA highlights, we're going to feed you
Mhm.
more NBA highlights over here.
Yeah.
So
I
starting to
mean,
figure it out.
for sure. There's so much to learn, but it's cool because people have been doing it for, you know, 14 years now, however long YouTube has been around, So there's a lot to learn, but there's a lot of people sharing that information and, you know, easier to learn from the people who have done it than, sometimes I feel like, oh, it's too late to start, but there's somebody out there right now starting a channel that in a year or two, they're going to have 1 million subscribers, like for sure.
Yeah, and I've thought that way too, and I still have those thoughts. Um, and my son will always say things too, like, I've told you this before. He's like, it's not about the views or the subscribers, and it's like you just do it for fun. I'm
Hmm.
like, yeah, that is the most important thing, and of course, I try to reinforce that with him at times because I think we try to also be like, no, no, it's not for that. But part of our brain is like, well, that does matter to me because when I get more views, it makes me feel good in ways. Um, because the content is being viewed by people,
Hmm.
but it's like I've just had to learn to not get caught up on the numbers of like I'm not have enough yet, and
Right.
just to be happy with what I do have
Hmm.
and be like, you know what, there's not even 100 yet, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm happy with the amount of people that do want to connect and subscribe. And
Hmm.
it'll be nice though when I start to make those breakthroughs where people start to comment more.
Yeah. I think, um, like I was saying, just about watching that channel that kind of breaks down other YouTube channels. The one thing that they all had in common was it was just that, like there'd be long stretches of time where it wasn't a lot going on, but they stuck it out. And you know the I think the audience can see that and they can sense that, and there's something about people pick up on that really really easy. If you're um frustrated or resentful or something, they'll pick up on that, and they'll not it'll have the opposite effect, like. But I think with something like this, um, I have fun with it, and
Hmm.
there are things that we probably could do as far as retention. One thing I was thinking of is um, having that cold open where it'll be just like a snippet of, and I've seen this just in the past year or something, that podcasts are doing this where the first 10
Oh,
seconds. will just be a snippet from inside the podcast.
Yeah, like a hot moment.
And
Mhm.
then the podcast will start, you know.
Yeah, I should probably do the time signature things too. Like, oh, at this point we're talking about this. At this point we're talking about this.
And like you said, the camera cuts, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I think that will show a little bit more effort, you know. People appreciate that. I think, I mean, it's probably that wouldn't be something that's very hard to do. Something that's just two people talking, you know, it'd be easy to cut. There's only three options, like one where it's both of us, one where it's you, and one where it's me, you know, so it'd be pretty easy to cut that together.
Yeah, and I still have these thoughts all the time of trying to find a place here to like have an actual facility
Mhm.
where I could be like, yo, this is a venue of our own with a studio. Like we'd have our shop area, but then I think having the music and podcast studio and like the video studio, because I'm like, I'd always love to work with some different people, but I don't want them over my house.
For sure.
And I think it would be really cool to have a public podcast place.
Mhm.
It'd be private but public,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I look forward to those days. I don't think it's too far off. Just have to find the right
Well,
facility.
I mean, with Mr. Beast, I learned this recently how everything he makes, he puts into the channel, which is pretty common with a business, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people don't do that. They'll just go blow it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when he was first starting out and he got his first brand deal, it was just some app or website or something, and they hit him up to do this brand deal, and they were like, "Oh, we're going to give you $5,000 to do a video." And he was like, "Well, how about you make it 10, and I'll take that 10,000 and I'll go out and give it to a homeless person, and that will be the video." And they
Right.
just didn't believe him or didn't want to or whatever. And he apparently spent like 3 hours on the phone convincing the guy, but they did it. And then so that's what he did. They gave him the 10,000 for the brand deal, went out and made a video, and then of course it went viral because it was a while ago before people did that, you know.
Right.
And so that video went viral, which of course probably made more than $10,000.
Oh
And then
yeah.
so you take that money, use it for the next video, and then it's just that snowball effect. I mean, he's got like 100 million subscribers.
Oh yeah. My son is always he watches Mr. Beast,
Mhm.
and he's like, Dad, look how many subscribers. He just broke like 100 million.
Mhm.
And I don't even know if he broke 100 million. He was sitting at like 99 million or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But I think it was like, yo, he's gonna, of course. And that's really my goal too, is I want to be able to do stuff like Mr. Beast one day. And that's kind of where the
Mhm.
Crossroads nonprofit kind of would come into play, where it's like, yo, we don't totally need a community center, but I would like to have that place where it's like, hey, through this facility and through this brand, we're able to, get this money to promote these certain things, to give money here or
Yep.
help change some lives. But so we've been
Mhm.
arranging this show, a music and art show. We're
Mhm.
gonna do downtown when they have an art walk.
Right.
Like, I'll just play some music. Kay will do her airbrush stuff, set up merch. I'm gonna get like a Sasquatch suit,
Yeah.
have somebody be Sasquatch, and people can come take pictures.
Mhm.
And the lady was, of course, like, well, I don't know how you want to do it. If you want to sell tickets, I would suggest like a donation thing because it's art walk. People
Yeah.
can come in and have their complimentary cup of wine or whatever, and
Mhm.
so you can make your money back and some profit. And I'm like, yeah, sweet. And then when talking to Kayliana about it and stuff, I'm like, I'm not really concerned with making a bunch of profit. Of course, I want to make money, but I'm like, I I'll put money into it to make it a really awesome show,
hmm
a cool experience, and then basically want to take the money from that and put it back into the next one and just keep building on that. I heard Bert Kreischer saying that his wife said that, like, he went on a tour and made all this money, and then she was like, okay, well, you need to put all that money back into your next tour, because having one successful tour is not going to be anything special, but having two successful tours, the
hmm
next one's even better. Then you're going to have 10 successful tours.
Yep.
So that is a wise way to do it with the and that's why it helps for me to be like, yo, I also got construction,
Yeah.
where this other arts and entertainment business, I can keep building it, building it, building it on itself, so I don't have to take any money from that and like pay for my life. Yeah.
hmm
So Mr. Beast though, dang,
Yeah.
smart.
Super smart, super charitable. I
He
mean,
doesn't buy like Ferraris, I don't feel like,
he
or like
doesn't do anything. Yeah.
expensive jewelry or like a mansion. I don't see him living like super luxurious life.
No, he doesn't. And he talks about it. He's just like, I'm not into that stuff, which I get. I, there's that Jim Carrey quote that's like, I wish everybody in the world could become rich so they can find out that that doesn't make you happy,
Mm-hmm.
which I feel, I like nice things and like having fun, but I mostly like things that are well built, so I'm willing to pay more for something that's well built and actually functions instead of buying, you know, paying
Glamorous.
$10 for a coffee maker that breaks every 3 months. You might as well spend $100 on a coffee maker. Like that's gonna last 20
Oh,
years or something.
yeah, for sure. We're looking at some shoes the other day
Mhm,
because I want to get some of these Converse from Famous Footwear.
mhm.
They got nice ones now. Have you seen them?
Yeah,
Dude, I'm like, dude, these got like good traction. They got better support.
right.
They'll be made of leather and like
hmm
actually good material. I like the old school ones too, but
hmm
and then Kayliana's looking at some shoes. She has 1,000 shoes already, but nothing like
Right.
a new pair of shoes. And she's looking at some other like nicer sandals.
hmm
And she's like, oh yeah, I mean, mine don't really have the best support. The ones that I got for $1. I'm like,
hmm Right.
yeah, they
For
cost you
sure.
$1. Like,
Yeah.
they ain't gonna be that supportive.
hmm
And
Yeah, man. I mean, you can kind of tell when someone is buying something, or, just to flex. But if
mm,
you're really into sports cars and you love them, there's nothing wrong with buying a Lamborghini or McLaren or whatever.
oh yeah,
But it's whatever, man. Like, but I do, less is more. I think you only need so much, you know, and life kind of gives you what you need, of course, wanting stuff, you know, it's it's kind of funner to want things. Because if you just have everything, then it's like boring.
yeah. What it was some like Buddhist quote or something that was like maybe like what we desire is the cause of our suffering or something
hmm
like that.
Yeah, desire
Um,
is the cause of all suffering.
yeah, and even Duncan Trussell was saying that. He says it all the time. I was listening to his recent podcast
hmm
about how like the whole idea behind the Buddhist philosophy and outlook is just that whole like, it's really about being just content, like
Mhm.
with the moment and with what you have.
For sure.
And like I'll think things all the time where I'm like, oh man, a new guitar. I always want a new guitar.
Mhm.
And I want to get a 7-string guitar actually now.
Mhm.
Um I've been telling you about a few different ones, and but also to be like, you know what? The guitars I got are great guitars.
For sure.
And buying a new one isn't gonna like it's not gonna make me happy. Like it's like when you order something from Amazon.
Mhm.
I think Duncan Trussell was saying that too, like this anticipation you get of like, oh, it's coming in the mail, it's coming in the mail.
Yep.
And in my mind I'm always like, oh, I can't wait for it to get here. I can't wait, I can't wait. And
Mhm.
then it gets here and it's like it's not like as awesome of a feeling as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah. They say that with drugs too. Like they've done studies, and the anticipation of doing the drug deal and getting the drugs and even like loading a bowl is more, it gives you more of a dopamine hit than the actual drug itself.
What?
Hmm.
That makes sense. The
I
like the
mean, think about it,
ritual of it.
like if you're like, oh, we're going out to the bar, and everyone's like, yeah, we're going, it's like that's fun, and then you actually get there and you still have fun and stuff, but the anticipation for sure is a big part of it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's crazy how again the mind works of like
Hmm.
the algorithm
Hmm.
of things like the hype,
Right.
building something up to be like this movie. Nope. I'm like, oh dude, I can't wait to see this movie. It looks so awesome. And I might seem like that movie sucked. God, I was so disappointed. Uh, you know.
Yeah.
But
That's why
just
they
like
say don't believe the hype.
yeah. But just like when I'm like, okay, to release an album properly and how I want to formulate things, like how do I want this project to be structured? Even the new project we're gonna be working on together. It's like all the steps it takes towards things like the sound, the instruments used, the look like of the album art, of the potential visuals,
Hmm.
all those different things, how the sound relates to the visuals.
Right.
How's this song affect us, but how's this song gonna intermingle with the audience? You know, and all that stuff. Plus, then it's like, okay, now you've created the product. Now, how are you gonna feed it to the people where it's like, where they're like, oh, we're gonna release this single first,
Hmm.
just a song, and then 2 weeks later, then the music video.
Hmm.
But before all that, we're gonna tease them with like album art.
Right.
Albums coming in 1 month, and then just those slow feeds of like, yo, that album release took like 6 months to a year,
Hmm.
but it took a year or two to produce it.
Right.
It's just crazy how, and then you have like that year or two of kind of like raking it in at first of being like, okay, we're starting to get the feedback from it, and because there's that first initial blow, because then you're like, all right, now we got to prep for the next one.
Hmm.
Keep those waves coming, keep those waves coming until eventually you might build up a good, like Metallica, where it's like, dude, Metallica, like, whatever, Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets. And it's like, dude, there's a first boom, boom, boom. They build and
Hmm.
develop on each of those. And then what? And Justice for All came out and they kind of had that garage thing. But then when the Black album came out,
Right.
it was like, fuck. Now I mean, they won a Grammy for one, but once the Black Album hit, of course, people were like, fucking Metallica, sellouts. Fuck,
Right.
can't believe you guys. But then their audience grew up to be like the whole world.
For sure.
And then it's just interesting because then they go through all those motions again of like, they do like load and reload, and everybody's like, fucking Metallica, you cut your hair? The fuck? I'm not a fan now.
Yeah. Yep.
And just, it's interesting how those waves go of like, oh, you're happening, you're not happening. Oh, now you're happening again. Now you're not happening. Oh, now you're happening. And
Yep.
see people trying to say, oh, Metallica's relevant again now. I'm like, dude, they've been on top for fucking so long.
Yeah. I mean, biggest metal band of all time.
Oh, dude, for real.
Mm-hmm.
My wife might only know Enter Sandman,
Mm-hmm.
but she knows that's Metallica.
Yeah, Metallica, that's one of the first music videos I remember seeing in my life.
Enter
For
Sandman.
one.
One.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a creepy video.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably why I remembered it, but I was 4 years old or something.
Dude, I heard this cover. You know Chris Cornell? I heard him do a version of One. You may have heard it.
I think
But
so.
he does an acoustic. He plays One, the U2 song, like the One Love, One Life. He plays the chords for that, but he sings the lyrics to Metallica One.
Hmm.
So fucking awesome.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if I was telling you this, but I've been trying to experiment with stuff like that too, like taking some of the Metallica songs and being like, I think I tried like the Four Horsemen, Blackened, and another, oh, Creeping Death.
Mm-hmm.
Try to turn them into like some slow acoustic kind of blues.
Right.
Just try to experiment with doing some like cover songs that are like way different than the original.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what's fun, man. Like, I was kind of thinking about that earlier. So I don't know a whole lot of songs, but I'll sit down and play and sing. There's a couple that I will always play, and it's it'll be so long since I even heard the original. It'll start to change after a while, and then it kind of starts to sound more like you. I might slow it down a little bit or whatever. But you can make those decisions too, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna totally just change the strumming pattern, and it'll totally change the vibe of it. I think it's cool. But
Yeah. Well, I'll have to send you. I did record a bunch of riffs I want to send you for
yeah,
collaborations, and I was even going to have you maybe check out some of my other material I've been working on. Because basically, I'm trying to just be like create, filter through that, find the best ones, work on those some more. And, then I want to try reaching out to some other people to collaborate with too, like maybe some more well-known people that I've always wanted to collaborate with. Because I would like to do some stuff like that for albums where it's like, this album, it's got 10 songs or something. I don't want to overdo it, because sometimes it'll be like, some people are like, this song's got 20 songs. Or I hear the Game's new album, like, it's got 30 songs.
right.
Like, fucking 30 songs?
That's too much.
I'm not even gonna listen to one. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, there's not gonna be 30 good songs unless you've been working on that for like 6 years or something.
Yeah, like
That's what people do. they'll make 30 songs, but they whittle it down, you know, to the best songs, and it ends up being about 10 or 12
Yeah, and then even if you think they're all good, you could try to release them
later.
separately. Like, yeah, we're gonna release, 6 to 10 on this project, but I'd like to do things where it's like, yo, this project's got, 6 to 10 songs and, like one super awesome feature that might cost to get a feature. Like I've always wanted to collaborate with like Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll's getting pretty
Mhm,
big now.
mhm,
Or I want to find some guitar players. Like I was thinking about hitting up Head from Korn
mhm.
and just some guitar players be like, dude, would you ever be interested in recording some guitar?
Right.
Or, just some people that might be way out of my league.
Mhm.
But I'll just try. They might say no.
Right.
And then also do like one really good cover per album. So I'm like, yeah, it's just I like to do it, and it's something that, of course, people will probably be like, they might look forward to that. Like,
Mhm.
well, usually every album's got like a song with a really cool featured artist,
Yep.
and probably potentially some other featured artists. I think you and I could collaborate on the whole production of a project and
Mhm.
could do feature stuff, but I think even just working on it as a whole and then
Yeah.
getting some potentially really rad features, doing a cool cover, making a music video for the cover song, and getting the
Yep.
licensing and stuff to properly like promote it. Cause I'm like, man, those cover songs, people latch onto those.
Mhm.
And
For sure.
then those are the ones too where they're like, you know what, we want to put this in our movie.
Right.
So
Yeah, dude.
maybe put an instrumental on the album, like Metallica would always do.
Mhm. For sure.
Some stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I look forward to this new project. You've been working on any of your own? You probably just make stuff and keep it on the hush.
I haven't really done a lot of like writing lately. I don't know. I'm trying not to force it, you know. So, because I've spent way too much time frustrated in the studio, you know, really trying.
Mm-hmm.
So, just trying to have more fun with it and just, you know, it's been a minute for sure, but just lately I've been sitting down in the studio earlier, even if it's for a few minutes, you know. But it's also this, I feel like I don't want to be too loud here in this apartment, you know. Like I don't even
Right.
got my speakers set up. I just do everything in headphones. So
Yeah.
even though
So
I can be like adequately loud, still that thought is kind of like a little bit stifling, you know.
yeah, for sure. I hear you there. Well, at least you can do some stuff in the headphones. And you can make beats
Hmm.
and synthesizer stuff.
Hmm.
Oh, you need an electric guitar.
I do. Yep.
Well,
Um,
I'll send you some of my guitar stuff because I
for sure,
record a
dude.
lot of guitar mainly,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
I usually just record to a drum loop.
Hmm.
I might just turn on a boom bap loop or trap loop or even just a
Yep.
rock or blues live drum loop. And yeah, I'll send you some of these. I got some pretty regular ones and I got some abstract ones.
Hmm.
So I don't know, we can kind of just send some stuff over. You could pick some that you like,
Yeah,
try to work on some projects and
for sure. I
see
think
where it
that'd be
goes.
good.
I will send them today.
You should.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I'll send
I'm
them
gonna
right
hold you to that.
after this.
Hmm.
We've probably been chatting for a while now.
What does it tell you?
No, I don't know why it doesn't give you a time.
Oh, I could look when this email came in. 3:30, so hour and a half.
Mm. Well, I mean, I think it was a good chat.
For sure, dude. Yeah, dude. I can't really think. Oh, dude. So speaking of this apartment, um, I told you about how when I very first moved in, the apartment manager typed up a letter about how I was opening the blinds, right?
Oh yeah, like you didn't open them up all the way before you slid them open.
Uh-huh. So just the other day, I was thinking about that as I was closing my blinds, I think, and I'm like, fuck that. Like I'm gonna do it how I normally do it, which is I would open it, but just not completely, perfect 90-degree angle.
Uh-huh.
So I did that, and sure enough, I would get home from work, long day of work, like I said, work has been kind of stressful. Get home from work, and there's a letter in my door about how I was using the blinds, and I was pissed, dude. I was like, nah, like, so I, you know, go knock on the office door, and no answer. Called a few times, no answer. So I was about to send a text, and I'm like, I didn't know what to say exactly, and because I was kind of angry,
Right.
and called my cousin and kind of got cooled off a little bit, but I
Right.
did end up sending her a text because that letter she wrote was, kind of passive aggressive. She's like,
Uh-huh.
if you need a maintenance tech to show you how to use them properly, just let us know. So
Oh my gosh.
I sent this text. It was like, hey, thank you so much for the reminder about the blinds. I was like, I work 10 hours a day doing physical labor, so as you can imagine, I'm often quite tired, and opening the blinds at a perfect 90-degree angle might slip my mind. Um, I'm like, I'm looking forward to my first inspection. I believe this will dispel any concerns you have about the condition of the apartment.
Right?
And that was just so stupid, man. Like, because
Wow, that's
the first one she sent or put in my door um wasn't as nice. She was like,
mm-hmm.
this is your final warning. And I'm
Oh,
like, I hadn't even lived in this
like
apartment a
like you're
month
gonna
yet.
get kicked out for well,
Implying
you didn't
something.
open the blinds properly.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
And
nobody is gonna get kicked out of an apartment for that. Plus it's
exactly,
weird,
yeah.
it's like, are you like watching me constantly? Like,
That that's my main thing. I'm like, and I told her too in that text, I'm like, the blinds are gonna remain closed for the rest of my stay here because you're
mm-hmm.
not gonna be looking in here checking up on me. And yeah, so there's obviously nothing in the lease about opening the blinds.
That's just like a
Um,
really anal thing. Like,
super, yeah.
I mean, is it really damaging him?
No, it can if you don't open them, if they're completely closed and then you slide them. I
Uh-huh.
mean, the slats on those blinds, they break pretty easy.
Right. I've
And
had those things with do they just clip up in? Like there's a like you slide them into this little clip?
yeah, but you can't really just buy one of those. You have to buy the whole set. So I understand it all, I'm not fighting on that. Um, but I was reading her rules and regulations because I keep everything too. Like I keep paperwork for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I did sign and agree to her rules and regulations, but the rule about the blinds say the blinds must be in an open position before sliding them. So
Mm-hmm.
what constitutes open? She didn't say fully open. It just said in the open position, which is anything but closed. If it's 30 degrees, you know
Dude, it's
50
so funny that I'm sorry, but this is so funny
it's
that it's even
ridiculous,
like
dude.
a thing that's like the degree of blind opening.
That's all it is. Yeah. And I'm like, how would you know that if you weren't watching me, for one?
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
for two, what's the $1,000 security deposit for? You know, and she told me I can't put magnets on my fridge.
That's pretty crazy. Like nobody else in the apartments has a picture of their grandkids or something on their fridge.
No, and that's another thing too, is like
She
I
like shows up
understand.
with a gun. She's like, "The fuck is that? What did I
Yeah,
tell you?"
yeah,
She
it's
shows up
crazy.
with the billy club, like, "I'm on the front porch." You come in, slide your things open, you get a phone call. "Hey James, this is blah blah blah. I seen that you didn't close your blinds properly. You want to
Yeah,
go do that again?"
yeah,
Dude,
it's weird, man.
the degree thing made me think of I got a message back from the Freemasons here,
Hmm.
and so they were saying like, "Oh, you can contact us through here to you have to get approved for a membership,
Hmm.
or we can also set up a less formal meeting."
Hmm.
And I was like, "Yeah, I filled out the form. I'm down for a less formal meeting." And I seen they have a petition. Like I had to
Yeah.
fill out a petition and get like 3 or 4 of the other Freemasons here to vouch for me.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping eventually I can join the lodge
Hmm.
here.
Yeah.
But there's also a place here I didn't even know um that I'm gonna go check it out. It's check it. There's like this Masonic lodge place. Oh, it's a library. Just right kind of by the civic center.
Hmm.
And I'm like, dang, dude, I need to go check this out. You know, they probably have all sorts of like memorabilia and
Hmm.
stuff. And I'm just like,
Crazy.
well, that's probably a nice little like introduction to the society here. Like, look at that. I
Hmm.
just love the way that stuff looks.
For sure.
I'm like, man, it looks like just
And it's all
interesting.
about builders too,
Yeah.
or
And like
architecture.
establishing society.
Hmm.
And like you say, the architecture, like the columns.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, I want to, whoa, dude, look at these.
Let there be light.
That's crazy. It looks like that national treasure where he's got the glasses that can see like secret messages and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I've always been really interested in it. I know that people are like, it's a secret society. But sometimes I kind of have to remind myself that I'm like, well, maybe it's not as secret as we make it out to be. Yeah.
Well, just because it's secret doesn't make it bad.
Yeah. And it's kind of one of those things like people say like, oh, it's secret, but it's hidden right in plain sight. Like this is a public place.
Yep.
And obviously like the emblems and the name, it's like right there on the front of it.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm gonna go check it out. I'm gonna
That's awesome.
see what it's all about.
Hmm.
I've passed that place before because I remember like I was walking all like drunk at night and I was like, wait a minute, what? I just noticed the emblem on the street. I didn't even recognize that that's what this place is.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna go check it out.
Hell yeah.
One of these days, I'm like, it might take me a year, 2, 3 years to get part of the lodge here, but
Hmm.
if if there's more I can learn, if it could turn me into a better person, I'm down. Like,
For sure.
especially now that I'm like sober and stuff.
Yep.
Like, well, there was things on there like, have you ever been convicted of a felony? If so, explain what it was. And so I've never been convicted of a felony, but there's been troubles in my past and I've worked to change them. So they're open, sounds like they're open to people that have maybe have a checkered past, but want to make a
I see what you did there.
the checkers, yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. By the way, what
Sure.
is the 111 tattoo?
That was my apartment number.
Oh, of your last place?
Yeah, but apparently, well, and I thought it was cool too because it was like symmetrical 111. The apartments were called Meridian Point, which is middle point, you know. And I'm always scrolling Instagram for tattoo ideas, and there's this one sheet that I came across where it was like 111, 222, 333, and underneath it had the meaning for each one. And under the 111, it was intuition. So I thought that was cool. And this is after I got the tattoo. But yeah, it was just my apartment number. Just a little
That's
memento.
dope. Yeah, Space 111 is the joint we're gonna throw this event at.
Really?
Yeah, I'm planning to get some new tattoos. I'm thinking on my hands, on the faces of my hands.
I was almost gonna go to the tattoo shop today.
I have an appointment to get some gauges to get my ears gauged. You have some gauges, right?
Yep.
What size are yours? Do you know?
They're 00.
Nice.
They're not. It's not real big.
You
I
just
can't
gonna
go
leave them
back
at
though.
that?
I
Or are you
can't
gonna
go
go
back.
up higher?
No, no. I think it's a good size. I never really liked the look of the real big ones. Honestly, I wish I could go a little smaller. I think I probably could. But some people's skin is more, I don't know what you call it, but I had a
Elastic?
friend.
Or it'll
Yeah,
break?
I had a no, just because if you take them out, they will shrink. But some people's close up all the way. Mine
Wow.
never closed up all the way. So it's either go and get surgery to sew them up, which people do, you know,
Right.
or you just keep them in.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna do that and then get some hand tattoo, make some tattoo appointments soon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about
Oh
getting
yeah,
a
brother.
tattoo machine again myself though. Just to do black and white ones on myself.
Yeah.
I just want to get like a really shitty sun on my kneecap. Like a doodle.
Yep.
I
That's
just
the
like
whole thing, dude. Ignorant tattoos.
I like them, you
So,
know. I want to get like a beer bottle, little shitty beer bottle with like one drop coming out. Be like, oh yeah, that was just my last drop of alcohol. And
yeah, dude.
just simple stuff.
Yep.
Have you tattooed me one day?
I was just gonna say that. I'd get a tat from you.
I get a tattoo of that on my other
Right.
kneecap. I was
Uh-oh.
thinking of doing that, like a happy sun and then like a sad something on the other side.
Sad moon.
Sad moon, yeah. Blue moon.
Right.
Well, sweet.
Yeah,
I guess
dude.
I'm gonna go play with this kid.
Word, yeah, I think my cousin was just calling me. I think I'm gonna go have dinner over there.
All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna send you some music. It might not be till a little bit later, but I'll send you some music tonight.
Word.
And yeah,
cool.
dude, it was a rad chat. We'll have to chat again. Maybe we'll try to chat. I mean, once a week is good.
Yeah.
But
for sure. I mean, we could always talk off mic too. I think it'd be a little easier to plan stuff, you know, without
plan the creative
divulging our secrets.
Yes, you can't spill the beans and give everybody. They're gonna steal our ideas.
Exactly. Well, there'll be no anticipation too. No hype.
True that. True that.
Hell
The hype is
yeah,
real.
bro. It is real.
All right, brother.
Yep.
All right, much love,
All right,
dog.
bro.
I'm gonna go play with
Love
my
you, bro.
dog. I love you too, man. Have a
Word.
good night.
Yeah, you too, bro. I'll talk to you soon.
Later.
Peace.